Hey guys, James from SIKKY Manufacturing. Today I'm going to show you a step-by-step installation guide on our AC system for the FRS LS combination. It's not a terrible install, but we'll go through each step from start to finish and give you all the explanations of what you're going to need to do. Alright, so the first step is we're going to take this custom designed and machined firewall adapter fitting that we made for the FRS firewall. So this basically, when you unbolt the line, the factory AC line from the firewall, this goes in its place and adapts it to an orb style AC fitting, so makes its job really easy. This is a little bit difficult to get in there because it's a tight area and it's going down in like this on the firewall behind the engine, but it gives it the proper connections and clearance to get the lines up and out and over the engine. Alright, so we're going to take this AC block and the provided hardware and washer, this socket head cap screw. We're going to get this into position first and then slip the bolt in afterwards. It helps you put a little bit of lube on these O-rings. Helps to use a little swivel socket with an Allen on it to get that tight. Alright, so this kit's set up for a CTSV compressor just because of the pulley clearance. It's nice and short, so we like to use it in a lot of the swaps. Either way, we're going to use the provided adapter block assembly. It's got two O-rings on it. It goes in the side of the compressor, much like the factory line fitting. It'll come pre-assembled with the two orb fittings that you need. So we're going to lube these up and slide it onto the compressor and then install the provided hardware to bolt it to the compressor. Alright, so next step, we're going to provide the SIKKY condenser fittings that come in your kit. So there's a big one and a small one. They only go in the corresponding hole. You can't mix these up, so no big deal. They come pre-assembled with the orb AC fittings on them. Same deal, lube up the O-rings a little bit. And then you're going to use the factory hardware that came out of the lines you took off of your condenser. So same hardware gets used, and just press these in and tighten down the hardware. So there's several major advantages by going with the SIKKY kit, and one of them is that the kit comes complete with all the lines you're going to need, already crimped, ready to go. And the other best thing about it is you don't have to bend any of the factory existing AC lines, which can cause all kinds of issues and fatigue where you're bending them, possible cracks and leaks. So super reliable way to go, and it makes the installation a breeze. Alright, so the first line we're going to put on is the high pressure line from the compressor to the condenser. So we're going to hook this end up first to the bottom port of the adapter block on the CTSV compressor. And it comes with the GM pressure sensor adapter port. So you can take your factory GM pressure sensor, which most of the harnesses out there for the LS swap will come with that wire already in there. So you put the factory sensor on here and plug that in. That way your GM computer can control the AC system like it's supposed to. But basically we're going to get this on the compressor on this end, and then this goes up over top right here by the frame rail and behind the front bumper to the condenser. So it might help to fish the line that's going to the condenser side first, and then you can take this and rotate it once you get it in. So you're basically going in between the frame rail and like where the radiator support goes out, so you're on the inboard side of the crushed portion of the frame rail that extends out to the bumper. And then you take this end down to the compressor, and I'm about to twist it around a little bit to get the hose to rotate. So this is an O-ring orb fitting, so you're going to get it snugged up with your hands, and then it doesn't take much to get it tight. It'll bottom out essentially, so you don't want to just go muscling it on there because it's an aluminum fitting. Alright, so before we hook that high pressure line from the compressor to the condenser, we're going to hook up this low pressure line that goes from the compressor back to the big firewall fitting here, and the fill charge ports up top here. So it's nice, convenient, easy to get to, and just makes it easy to service your AC system down the road. All right, so one thing to note, it makes it a lot easier on the install if you leave the fittings loose while you get both ends on. Then you can actually manipulate the hose and twist it a little bit, get it where you want, secure it, and then tighten down the fittings. That way it allows it just to move just enough. Since these lines come pre-clocked with the fittings in the right direction, there's not a lot of twist and wiggle room, so try that out. It'll make your install a lot easier. All right, so now we're going to take this line that hooks from the firewall to the condenser. It's a high pressure line. It has a port on it right here, but we're going to go under this brake booster line and then underneath these heater core lines and hook it up to the firewall adapter block and fitting. All right, so this hose is basically going to route through similar position as it did on the other side of the radiator. There's a gap and there's a piece of foam here inside the frame rails between the radiator, so you can fish it right down there and then secure it where you'd like it. Again, we're going to keep these all loose till we get them all hooked up, and then we're going to come back and tighten everything. All right, so now we're going to bring the line over from the right side of the car, and you can't really hook these up wrong. They have different size ends on them, but this one's going to go on the top port, and then this one goes on the bottom port. So before we tighten everything up, we're going to secure this line with some zip ties and up and out of the way. And then we're going to lock all the fittings down. So last step before we get to enjoy this ice cold air coming out of this LS powered BRZ or FRS, we need to charge the system. So we're going to vacuum it out, pressure check it, and then put a charge in it. All right, so that's it for the SIKKY step-by-step AC kit install. Pretty basic. Just keep in mind, take your time threading those fittings on. They're aluminum fittings, so when you do that, you don't want to cross-thread them. So take it easy with that, and I hope you guys enjoy having a nice cold LS swapped car.